Hi, I'm live. I'm waiting for Ellie to join us. I talked to her earlier today and she is coming, but she's wrapping some things up with the group that she does before our program. You're going to notice a little bit of a change on the screen. I need anybody wanting to do a donation to text me for directions. I have a bunch of stuff to share while we're waiting for Ellie. I read through the Bible and on a regular basis, and I'm in Psalms right now, and I wanted to share a few chapters that I read today, and I'll tell you, you'll understand why. I'm going to start at Psalm chapter 5. Give ear to my words, O Lord. Consider my sighing. Listen to my cry for help, my King and my God, for to you I pray. Morning by morning, O Lord, you hear my voice. Morning by morning, I lay my requests before you and wait in expectation. That is certainly how I pray every day. You're not a God who takes pleasure in evil. With you, the wicked cannot dwell. Here's Ellie. Hang on a sec, folks. Hi, Ellie. I'm reading a couple chapters of Psalms to start today. It's what I have been, what I read this morning as I'm reading through the Bible. I'm in Psalm 5. You are not a God who takes pleasure in evil. With you, the wicked cannot dwell. The arrogant cannot stand in your presence. Now listen to this, Psalm 5, the second half of verse 5. You, God, you hate all who do wrong. You hate all who do wrong. It's not just the actions that he hates the person. And so we need to be a little more aware of what God actually says with what we're dealing with in Congress right now. God hates those who do wrong. You destroy those who tell lies. So I'm praying, God, destroy all these liars. Mm-hmm. You hate that you destroy the bloodthirsty and deceitful man. The Lord abhors. That's not just hates; it's abhors. But I, by your great mercy, will come into your house. In reverence will I bow down toward your holy temple. Lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness because of our enemies. Make straight your way before me. And I pray this for Larry. This was my prayer this morning for on Larry's behalf. Not a word from their mouth can be trusted. Does that sound familiar? Their heart is filled with destruction. Their throat is an open grave. Boy, talk about the abortion industry and the gravity there. With their tongue, they speak deceit. Declare them guilty, O God. Let their intrigues be their downfall. Banish them for their many sins, for they have rebelled against you. But let all who take refuge in you be glad. Let them ever sing for joy. Spread your protection over them. Lord, spread your protection over Larry, if he is still with us, that those who love your name may rejoice in you. For surely, O Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield. Now, one of the things that Larry talked about in 28 Years to Nowhere was when he came to Christ, after he had left. It wasn't immediately when he left the Clintons. He had been raised in church. And in order to be a member of the football team, the coach insisted that all the kids be baptized, but he didn't understand what that meant. He just knew he couldn't play if he didn't declare his faith in God and get baptized. So he did. But it didn't mean anything to him till after he left the Clintons and really came to Christ. And Pastor Ernie Sanders means so much to him because Pastor Sanders is the one who led him to the Lord. So now chapter 6, oh Lord, do not rebuke this. And I just think of this as a prayer that Larry would pray. Oh Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger or discipline me in your wrath. Be merciful to me, for I am faint. Oh Lord, heal me, for my bones are in agony. Now I happen to know that Larry is in agony in his bones. And how long this has been going on, I do not know, but I do know that this is definitely true of him. How long, O Lord, how long? Turn, O Lord, and deliver me. Save me because of your unfailing love. No one remembers you when he's dead. Who praises you from the grave? I'm worn out from groaning. Well, I tell you, that's how I feel. All night long, I fled my bed with weeping and drenched my couch with tears. God knows how many bottles he has been able to fill up with the tears that I've shed. There is a verse in Psalms that says that he does collect our tears. He pours them out on the altar at some point. My eyes grow weak with sorrow. They fail because of all my foes. Away from me, all you who do evil, for the Lord has heard my weeping. The Lord has heard my cry for mercy. The Lord accepts my prayer. May all my enemies be ashamed and dismayed. And this is the part that we need to focus on today. May they turn back in sudden disgrace. And then the beginning of chapter 7, O Lord, my God, I take refuge in you. Save and deliver me from all who pursue me, or they will tear me like a lion and rip me to pieces with no one to rescue me. O Lord, my God, if I have done this and there's guilt on my hands, arise in your anger. Rise up against the rage of my enemies. Awake, my God, decree justice. Let the assembled peoples gather around you. That's us. Rule over them from on high. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness and my integrity. O righteous God, who searches minds and hearts, bring to an end the violence of the wicked and make the righteous secure. My shield is God Most High, who saves the upright in heart. So that's what I wanted to share from God's word today. And I know Larry doesn't like being too preachy, but God's word is truth. And I felt I needed to hear this today. And this is what I read this morning. And I thought I'd share it with you. And thanks, Pam. Yes, happy Valentine's Day. Larry, I'm sure, is not able to celebrate this. I think we've got enough people here to go ahead and say something. That I have gotten word that Larry's in grave danger. Now, whether he is still alive or not, we're not allowed to know. But there is grave danger afoot, and he needs help to pay for protection. Now, I will say from experience, 3 years ago, not quite 3 years, it was in May of 2017, I got a phone call threatening my life for having helped Larry Nichols write 28 Years to Nowhere. So, I've paid quite a price for being part of this project. See, my name's down there. See that? And I was told that if they came after me, they would not come after me. That would be nothing to them. They were going to come after my children and my grandchildren. And that is my sacrifice for what we're doing here. Because I've had to pull away to protect my kids and protect my grandkids, not to have a lot of communication so that the connection is not made. And that loss is severe for me because my family, my children were everything to me. There's nothing I wanted more since childhood than to be a mom. I played with dolls so much, and I loved my children in spite of special needs. And I did for them and helped them maximize. And even with severe issues, these kids ended up being not valedictorians, but graduating summa cum laude with the help I gave. And, it's amazing what they have been able to accomplish. And then to have to pull away from what I did with that effort has been very hard. But this is, Larry has told me many times, this is no game. This is very serious. And he needs $5,000 today. I got word, and it's been verified that this is a legitimate request. Now, whether it's protection for Larry, whether it's protection for his family, whether he's still with us or not, I can't verify that. But I do know that Larry needs $5,000. Larry, the Nichols family needs $5,000 today, because there are times when, his family has to go into hiding because of him. So, I can't guarantee how the money will be spent, but I was asked that we need to raise $5,000. Protection is needed. There's grave danger. And that's why I'm not putting up Larry's PayPal. I don't know if there's no way to access that, or just based on, what's going on. I don't know. All I know is I have another way to get funds where they need to be. And if you are able to donate any large amount, please send me a text message. I need to tell you how to direct funds. Now, I know a couple years ago when there was a price on Larry's head, we know who and what country was involved in that, putting his name on the list. I don't know if that's still the same people, the same organization, same people, I don't know. I do know that somebody high up in government was informed that Larry was participating in helping our president. Don't know what information was given, but people who've been in government for a while can put two and two together and guess what effect he can have. And so I was concerned when I heard that somebody high up had heard that Larry was involved, that it would put his life in danger again, like it did 2 years ago. I have a couple questions to ask. Did anybody hear Hillary Clinton say in 2016 that she can never run for office again as long as Larry Nichols is alive? Did anybody hear her say that? I didn't hear it directly because I wasn't paying much attention to what she was saying. I didn't like listening to her. But I did hear that she may have said something like that. I'm asking the question because I don't know how to verify that. But if she thinks she can't run as long as Larry Nichols is around to block her, if she said that, I'm asking the question. I'm not making an accusation. I'm just wondering, because I'm a curious person. Would that have anything to do with the fact that she has not declared that she's running this year? Is that what she's waiting for? I don't know, folks. I really don't know, and I have no way to verify the answer to my question, but I'm throwing that out there because I started pondering today. I mean, I've thought about this before, but it's the first time that I wanted to throw that out there to you. When we can't hear anything from Larry, so there's no way to know what's going on. All I can do is make the assumption that his life is in grave danger. We know he was very, very ill the last time I heard from him on January 21st. And he had the flu. And there is such a close connection between flu and pneumonia. We know that would have been it would stand to reason that could have been an issue for him. And, how he would cope with that, I don't know. But, we've heard nothing in the way of requests for funds. And I got a request for $5,000 today. So there's something afoot, and there's great danger afoot. So if you know anybody who can help with whatever this financial need is that has to do with security, and there's also, of course, if there's something going on, there's going to be some medical costs involved as well. So if you know somebody who can help, we're still waiting to hear what his condition is. And, I don't call, I don't even know the phone number to call a hospital or anything like that. So sorry about the phone calls coming in. We just have to wait. We have to wait, and we have to pray that I pray Psalm 118 verse 17 every day. Larry will not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord. And I know for a fact next week will be 2 years since we prayed and he came back to life after being pronounced dead. So, there's a guy, what's his name? Sitali? It's Sit something. It's an African guy who he was a pastor, became a pastor afterwards. He'd been dead for 3 days. They were burying him, and at the funeral, he bang, bang, bang on the coffin and came back to life, and God sent him back. And so we are allowed to use Larry's name when we call senators, and that's okay. So that would not be what put Larry in danger, because he gave us permission to use his name for what we said. So that would not be it, Sherry. Thank you for asking. What would put him in danger is if somebody leaked what he was doing and who he was doing it with. So I don't know. We've had, it is unnerving to have somebody listening to our calls. But, greater is he that is in us than he that's in the world. And I am claiming Psalm 118:17 for Larry, one way or another. If he's gone, he's coming back. I do not believe, I have felt very strongly for 3.5 years that even if he died, he was coming back. He is not done. He still has a message to tell. And he wants to write another book. I am working on another book on his behalf. And we'll see if I get permission to publish it when it's done. If I don't get his permission, I'm going to have to ask his wife. But anyhow, we're going to go forward. As a fun aside, I'm going to tell you something. This is Valentine's Day. I want to say Happy Valentine's Day to you. And I got an interesting gift in the mail today from my daughter. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to share with you what I got. I'm going to give you her website in case you're interested in her work. She's a potter. I was told in 5th grade to find another path for her. She would never go to college. And I looked the principal in the face. I did not, with a belligerent look. I didn't say it out loud, but my eyes said to her, "Oh yeah, watch me." And so I know that's a bit arrogant. Forgive me, God. But I pulled her out. I homeschooled her K through 12. And then I commuted 14 hours every weekend to go and help her in college. She is a potter. She was a professor at a grad school. Never going to go to college, but she was a grad school professor, and she's a potter. So I'm making something for her. I'm making, anyhow, she made these, I figure out which, she made these buttons. That circle with inside a circle is her logo. And here's a little smaller one that she made. It's made out of ceramics and fired in a wood-fired kiln. Anyhow, I have some extras if anybody's interested in buying some, if you have a project you'd like to use them for. So I am I'm making a scarf for her that she asked me to make. And I'm about ready for the buttons, so they came perfect timing because I'm just about ready to do that. And I want to apologize again for being still in my paint shirt. I have painted nearly every wall and every bit of trim in this house since Christmas. So hopefully this is the last weekend. I'm going to have a paintbrush and dirty, nasty. No paint in my hair yet this morning, but give me a couple hours. There is no embalm. Oh, the African. They didn't embalm in Africa, James. The guy, the pastor who died there, and I have not heard anything like that for Larry. So I'm sure this channel is being monitored, Sherry. I know for a fact actually that the channel is being monitored, and so I have to be very careful. And but I've promised everybody that when I know something, I will tell you. And that's all I can say is I'm asking questions. I'm concerned that Larry's in grave danger. I can't verify anything, and so all we're left is to speculate and to guess. I do know that I do have a pretty good intuition about stuff, and so I know, or I can't say I know. I can't say I know because I don't know, but I can imagine that his family's in danger and they're going to need some help. And so if anybody can do anything to help, it will be greatly appreciated. And you need to text me to get information on how to get funds to him. So, well, the principal that told me that my daughter would never make it to college and I had to find something else had a reason for what she was saying. We had some issues, but she was also talking from experience with her own child, and she wasn't willing to do for her children what I did for mine. And so that's why, because of what I did for mine, that is why I said, this is part of my sacrifice on behalf of the country to be involved like this. Because I had to pull away. Because I just wanted to make sure my family was not in danger. So I'm not sure that from inside our country or foreign, Laura, I'm not sure. There is an international hit list, and I know 2 years ago Larry's name was put on the list. I do not know if it's back on. As far as I know, the last I heard, has it been 2 years? The last I heard 2 years ago, no, last I heard a year plus ago, he was doing his best to get his name off the list. And the fact that there wasn't any attempt on his life, but one in July and then again in December, makes me think that he succeeded in getting his name off the list. And I understand he's in grave danger, and therefore his name is probably back on the list. But that's, like I said, I'm speculating. All I can do is speculate, but I do base my speculation on what I've experienced with Larry in the last 3 years. So I guess he's in grave danger, and I pray they don't succeed, but on the other hand, I don't know. And so we just have to wait. James, yes, the African pastor was in Africa, and it was one of the Central African countries. I don't think it might have been Uganda, not Rwanda. It was probably one of those two. But anyhow, I see I do have paint on my face. Well, at least it's not in my hair. It's easier to get off my face than my hair. See here. I was inside a cabinet painting the inside just before we started, and I didn't look in the mirror. I'm sorry. So, all right, there was one more thing I wanted to share. I posted it on Facebook today. I shared it from something else that I heard today. So if you just give me a second, I'll get on Facebook and see if I can. It's my last post on Facebook. So I wanted to read to you what this article was. Marsha Blackburn. The nationalreview.com has an article about Marsha Blackburn, and I have an assignment for us. Senator Marsha Blackburn proposes a bill to ban funding for states that give driver's licenses to illegal immigrants. Now, we know they're doing it in California. We know they're doing it in New York. I haven't heard if Maryland is doing it, but it wouldn't surprise me since we're a sanctuary. Some areas of Maryland are sanctuaries. So Senator Marsha Blackburn announced on a conference call last Wednesday. This article was written February 12th, so Wednesday of last week. She's proposing a bill to block grant funding from the Department of Justice for local law enforcement in states with sanctuary policies that allow illegal immigrants to receive driver's licenses. She wants to pass the Real ID Act after 9/11. She said states are beginning to get back to where they were before 9/11, And we think it's important to file legislation that would prohibit sanctuary entities, and these entities are refusing to comply with federal immigration law to prohibit them from receiving tax dollars through the grant programs at DOJ. The Stop Greenlighting Driver's Licenses for Illegal Immigrants Act is co-sponsored. Now listen to these names, okay? It's co-sponsored by Kevin Kramer, Republican of North Dakota, Tom Cotton, Republican of Arkansas, Joni Ertz, Republican of Iowa, Kelly Loeffler, Republican of Georgia, Shelley Moore Capito, Republican of West Virginia, and Mike Rounds, Republican from South Dakota, while Representative Ken Buck, Republican of Colorado, will carry the bill in the House of Representatives. So will you please call Ken Buck in the House and Marsha Blackburn in the Senate and ask their office. I'm sorry, I forgot. I was going to look up their numbers and I was busy painting and had a couple people over that were helping with some stuff. So the Capitol switchboard is 202-224-3121. Sorry, I had to close my eyes while I tried to remember. 202-224-3121. And you can ask for Senator Marsha Blackburn, and you can ask for Representative, I think I said Ken Buck from Colorado. Isn't that the name I said? Ken Buck from Colorado. Call Representative Ken Buck from Colorado and Senator Marsha Blackburn. Tell them you're in a group with Larry Nichols, or just forget Larry's name right now. Just tell them you are in a group, a patriotic group. And who can we call to help her lobby for this law? I don't have time this weekend to put it up on the website, so you guys are just going to have to listen and do this. So it's Senator Marsha Blackburn and Representative Ken Buck. I've posted the number to the switchboard at the Capitol, 202-224-3121. Ask for Senator Blackburn, ask for Representative Buck, and ask what we can do to help. And then let's compile a list of names, get those names to me next week, and we will put something up on the website. And I'll just write a script that we can use to call. And this is something that's really important, because if they get driver's licenses, if the illegals get driver's licenses in so many states, if they have voter ID, you show, then you're using a legitimate driver's license to be able to vote, even though you're here illegally. Yes, we want voter ID, but if they can use a driver's license and they can have one as an illegal, they're not allowed to vote. So this is an important issue, and it's an important thing that we need to participate in. So I'm throwing that out there for you, and I'm going to put it's Senator Blackburn and Representative Buck. Oh, come on. And so that was it. That's all I had to share today. So take it away, Ellie. It's your turn.
We're long-winded today.
Sorry.
I think it was Eileen that asked about me going by Larry Nichols. I went by early on when about the first week he was sick. And she told me that he was very, very sick. And, it was going to be a while for him to, get over what he was ill with. And she was very nice, very cordial. And then I live close enough. I can drive by every so often, and I have a friend I totally trust. He's like my cameraman, and he has driven by a few times. We've noticed the cars are moving. We've noticed lights on, but that's pretty much. I've tried to respect her privacy because she does not know me. Understand that me and Larry have got a telephone friendship. And, I was so chicken to meet Larry early on, and I should have 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But investigating him and then investigating the Clintons so really deep, I didn't want to put him in danger. And I respected his privacy also. So me and Larry talk on the phone a lot. So, and I always told him that it was God's plan that I'm going to meet him someday. And we had tried so many times. About 2 weeks before he got really sick, we were supposed to get together and meet up. And my family was sick. And I didn't want the germs I had to take to him. And he was all for that. And then we'd set it up for the following week. Well, then he said he had the flu in his house and give him a few days. Well, then I called him again and we talked, and he said he was pretty sick. And until he got over, what was going on, and he said, Ellie, it might be a few weeks. And I said, don't worry, God told me we're going to get together and we're going to meet. And so really, I don't know much. My heart tells me to write a letter and put it in their mailbox and see if by chance his wife will call me and trust me. I've never talked to his wife on the phone. And I've only talked to her that one time. And in her eyes, I'm a stranger. And I don't want her to be fearful of me until, I get to go sit down, talk with him and his wife at the same time, and see I'm no big threat. I'm just, I think I'm more like Winnie the Pooh. So, or, hey, Mary Ellen, we could call me.
Speaking of wait a second, Ellie. Speaking of Winnie the Pooh, there's a CD link to there's what do you call it? My brain's fried with chemicals right now. There's a link to a YouTube video that gives you the demo of Larry's CD. It's called "In My Life," and there is a song on there about Winnie the Pooh. It's a really beautiful song. It's really a beautiful song. So
well,
see, sorry.
There we go. That's okay. So I am watching to see. I don't know what I'm looking for. I've done stakeouts before and watched people, and at this point, I am just staying back until if I see anything, you betcha I'm going to be on the phone with Mary Ellen. So I really don't know much, but at least I'm close enough that if I get the inkling, I can go over and see him. You betcha I'm going to do it. So I'm just waiting.
I didn't even remember that. I had forgotten, and I don't know if you even told me that he had told you, when he first got sick, picked up what his wife had, that it could be a few weeks. And I'm not surprised. As sick as he was, he would need time.
He told me it would be a few weeks.
If he would need time to recover. Mm-hmm. Now, that is assuming he's recovered. But in any case, we know there's grave danger afoot. And we know the powers that be. We know the kinds of things that happen. And certainly, if Larry were out of the way, we might see somebody charging in to the election cycle. And I don't think that is going to be I don't think that puts me in danger to say it that way. But we know that Larry has been an incredible stumbling block. A help to President Trump and a real stumbling block to keep somebody else out of the White House. It was a vow that he took decades ago that he would make sure, knowing the plan was Bill Clinton would serve 2 terms. They would sit out for 2 terms and let somebody else go in. And, they were expecting it to be Al Gore. And then Hillary was going to come in. And there was talk oh shoot, I can't remember what year it was. There was talk, I think it was during the election cycle before it was the election cycle between Gore and Bush. I think there was talk about Gore and Hillary, just wait and see what we're going to accomplish. I do remember that statement. And I know Larry has done a lot to stop her from winning, when Obama won, and certainly did a lot to spread the truth. He and Alex Jones worked a lot together, and, Larry's done so much. So there is a petition going around to remove Pelosi. I don't know. I have a question on, maybe Ellie. Is something like that even useful? Because the people who can oust her from office, she can only be recalled by her own constituents in her precinct. Because the only thing that Congress would do would be to censure her, which is a little slap on the hand, and then you carry on. Now the House can vote to remove her as Speaker. But now I do know there have been congressmen who have been censured and removed from office.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Barney Frank one?
I can't remember. The thing is that petition, it's valid. It's an actual petition. James, if you aren't on my Facebook, if you could post it to me in a message, I'll put it on our page. It's a news page, and there are people that would help sign it on there. I had it on like my regular personal page, and it didn't go nowhere. I got weird people on my main page. But the investigators, Mary Ellen added me this morning. If you can get on there and send me a message, I definitely will post it and, say this is from James and let people know. And then they can sign it if that's the way you want to go. And, Mary Ellen, you mentioned Tom Cotton in this ID thing. I met Tom Cotton early on. I mean, he looked like a kid when I met him, when he first got in politics.
He still looks young.
Yeah, he does. And I met his wife. His wife is just adorable. But the thing is on many occasions, I would see him on election, or he would be speaking at a place called Hastings Books. And it's went out of business. And I spoke to him a few times then on my concern with the Clintons and their connection with Islamics and some stuff and what's really weird you bring that up, because I'm doing the show Clinton Crimes, and I was concerned at this time with their connections in Africa. Because, like I said, I have a friend that has an orphanage school in Kenya, and when I heard they were in Africa, it really worried me. And thank goodness it was over Congo and, not close to Kenya. But I expressed my concerns with him that we would get illegals in that could possibly take over. I was more concerned with the Islamics and Muslims, like what was going on in the UK. Because, I scream things real early, and then I figure it out years down the road, oh yeah, there we go, duh. I really believe it's the Lord that gives me these things to use now, and I think it's great. I get these, I run into people, I get like Tom Cotton in Africa. And see, now it makes sense. Back then to me it didn't, but I did speak to him about it. So yes, Tom Cotton is good. And the thing that I brought it up for is that's why I always get on my viewers about talking to your Congress, talking to your Senate. You develop that relationship with them, and they fight harder for you. you know.
Yeah, contacting your congressman and letting your opinion be known.
And even, you know, and what gets me with like Nancy Pelosi, she'll get up there and she'll say that she is speaking for the voters. She's not speaking for me, you know, and
the lies about her interest in the Constitution.
right.
Just
And it's people like Tom Cotton that will get in there and they will stand up for our states. And the more you develop that relationship with them, the more they can go in and say, this is what my voters want. You know, you're not speaking on behalf of the voters. And Nancy Pelosi, yes, she can be. This is now you'll see petitions out there help us sign the petition and so forth. But when you look into it, they don't register it. You have got to follow the proper procedures to get those petitions. And you'll get a lot of I call them fake. You know, they want to help and they start these petitions, but they're not going into the county and having them done. This has been done. This has been verified, this petition. And it will make her step down. And it will, if she is voted out, she won't be able to run again. She'll be locked out, you know, and that's what we need. And this petition will help even after someone takes her spot. We can get her off the bench to start with this petition. And another thing it'll do is if the lady that's running against her in San Francisco right now, if she's voted in, Pelosi's gone. And then with that petition, they can take it to the judge and have her blocked from ever running ever again. Now, then we've got her family members to deal with after that. Newsom is her nephew, and he would be the next one, but they do have a valid petition against him also. So it's really voting these people out. And I think her and Biden and Feinstein, and there's a few other old ones. I've always said these people are too old to be in office. They are. They don't know what they're doing, and they don't speak for us. And I did a little bit on my show this morning about that, is they are so into impeaching Trump, they forgot what the people stand for in this country. They're not speaking for the regular people like all of us, that we worry about our kids and, you know, how to take care of our kids, how to pay the light bill, our mortgage, our cars, tax breaks. Things that would help us in everyday life or make more money. And not to mention that the bill for the prescriptions, the infrastructures, even this 5G. This is stuff that's important to us. And all they're thinking of, and it's these old people that's been in forever, is, oh, they're going to speak for us and they want to impeach Trump. It's not the will of the people. And maybe I'm a huge constitutionalist, but I just really feel it's the hearing what the people want, not what these politicians want. And, you know, I've talked to quite a few people over the last few days saying, when I look at the polls, I look at their numbers, but I look at what the will of the people is. And that's what we need. And we're coming together as a nation. I could feel it. I don't know. You can really feel the Republican Party pulling together. The fake ones are falling out, like Romney, and a few others. You're seeing their ways. And, you know, the more we get in these people that really want to be in politics, and it's going to be for us, the better this nation's going to be. And
do you know when Tom Cotton's term is up, when he's up for election again?
what?
Do you know when Tom Cotton's election comes up again? Do you know which year? I have the paperwork. It's 10 feet away, but I'd have to go through a brick wall.
I'm not real sure, but he's definitely him and Jason Rapier here. And we got to get rid of Asa. He's left over Clinton era, and I just don't trust him.
Jason, the lady that works for Jason in his office is the sweetest lady.
Oh yeah, they'll talk to you forever on the phone.
Jason wouldn't call me, but I've talked to her many times.
I'm trying to work it out to get an interview with him. He's real busy, but I have a feeling I'm finally going to get it. Now, Tom Cotton is so busy in Washington, I'll probably never get to see him again. But, I got him early on where I was able to speak with him. But I really do want to get with Jason Rapier and see if I can talk to him for a little bit and interview him. And I got so many plans. I'm going to get me a mobile camera to where I want to go down and do some stuff at the Capitol. I want to do some stuff at the colleges.
Jason's a state rep, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. But I think, as much as he is getting more into helping the state out, I can see him going further. I really can. And, the same way with Huckabee. I wish Huckabee would run for governor again. We need Huckabee back in office here.
Mike Huckabee, the dad?
Yes. I think he should run for governor again, and because we will put him in for 8 more years. The people in Arkansas love him. They want him back. They've even said, come back, do this again. When he's doing his shows, you'll see the comments underneath, and we want him back. And, if we can't have Sarah, at least let us have Mike. You would not believe what he did for our state. He saved it. And he knew what the Clintons were about, and he still does. He probably knows more about the Clintons than most governors or most senators, and unless they're good friends with them, but he knows more about what they did here, and that's why we're trying to get the word out. I just wish he would add more to the corruption that they did and what he fixed, because he did fix our state, and we definitely loved him, and Tucker, Jim Guy Tucker, and a lot of people didn't like him, but he stepped into a state of corruption that I don't even think he understood. And then, then Mike Huckabee came in, and he had to fix it. But get a hold of your senators and your state reps and talk to them, because they're going to be the next future. And if we don't start thinking about 2024, we might lose that election back to them, to the corruption. And we just can't let that happen. And the more we put into the Republican Party and the more we make it great. Trump said, make America great again, and he did. Now it's, keep America great. No, let's step beyond and let's make our future great. Now he can make it great for us now, but the future, that's what we need to look into, and getting these kids motivated back into wanting America to be great, loving our flag, loving the anthem, because they've been so lied to by the schools. And, I'm finding more and more, I look, because I want to go talk at some of the colleges and the high schools. And I'm finding out they're all liberal teachers. They're doing away with history. They're doing away with civics. They're doing away with government.
Well, the problem is you've got a lot of new teachers coming into the high school that were raised or trained in the liberal colleges.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed when my kids were in high school back in the 90s, my kids were at a Christian school, and I was shocked at some of the stuff that they were being taught. I would go in. I went into the classroom, a lot of the classrooms. I was at the school every single day. Those teachers knew I was watching what they were doing, and I was paying attention. And I was shocked at their lack of knowledge of who God is and how he works
Uh-huh.
and what he wants from us. And
Mhm.
I'm going, this is a conservative Baptist school, and they have teachers like this. What in
Mhm.
the world? And I thought, if this is happening at a Christian school, I'm so thankful they're not in the public school, especially when I'm in liberal Maryland.
Mhm. Yeah. And not only that, what I'm in fear of, and I wish either Nunes or even Mitch McConnell or one of them would push forward some of these indictments. And for the life of me, I do not know why they didn't push for the coup, because there is a law in our Constitution about what a coup is, and when you see the coup, you can take the coup down. Okay, and it is it's a group that's trying to take over a party. Either one of the parties, which we were seeing, the liberals did take over the Democratic Party to the point where it's almost no longer there. The other standards, and see, this is where the standards and procedures in our Constitution have got to be listened to, and that's where the impeachment came in, where you heard them saying there's standards, there's policy, there's procedures, and this is how we have to follow it, and we got to keep these things going. So you got to have a party that has turned or is taking over a political party. That's one of the first standards. Then you have where they take on the opposite party and try to, in a way, push their almost like a socialist or communism. It would be an extreme laws and their views and laws that don't match what the law of the land is, and then it is backed 100% by media and to push their topics, their ideas, and their new way, which is what Bernie Sanders wants. And when you have all these standards, that is for a party or the head of the party that's being taken over, which could be the Democrats or the Republicans, can go and file on a coup and take them down. And why they haven't done this, I'm just not sure. I've looked to see if there was amendments that canceled the original standards and policies and procedures of the Constitution.
Well, I think what
But we need to look into it.
the reason they're not taking the other down is because so many of them are involved in the corruption and the coup. There are
Mm-hmm.
so many Republicans who did not want Trump to win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to remind you guys, in 2016, our team working with Larry, we made calls and calls and calls to, Larry told us the 5 people to call who had an impact on the vote at the at the Republican National Committee or convention, and we made so many phone calls that we really put pressure, because we picked the ones who were ready to be voted out. And so I know the people that would help, for example, Senator Blackburn and well, with Ed Buck, the representatives are all up for reelection, but with the senators, the ones to pressure are the Republicans who are up for reelection, to get them behind what Marshburn is trying to do with the illegals getting driver's licenses. But the pressure we put on certain Republicans back in the summer of 2016 really did help. We said, if you don't help to hold, the people have spoken. We want Trump. And if you will not vote for him, then we're making sure you do not keep your job. And that's all they want. Like Larry has told us so many times, they want nothing more than to keep their job. And so, you see Lindsey Graham being very pro-Trump right now, and coming out and being on the news talking about before the vote to acquit him. Oh, he's in.
Mary Ellen, he switched again.
Huh?
He switched again.
Who switched what?
Graham. He's voting with them on tying, keeping Trump from doing these wars. You remember
Right.
He is siding on the other side that Trump needs to ask Congress. And that is such a farce because they're not reading it the way it was written. I believe in the 80s, was it? It was written that they are to let Congress know when they decide to actually put the boots on the ground and decide definitely to go to war. And that's what we've always done. There's nothing, no different. It's not pre-telling Congress, oh, we're going to go after a known terrorist. Right. That's not what that law was for. And and it gets me because they're not reading their laws right. And
then they're coming to the public and pulling the wool over our eyes because we don't know the law.
That's right.
Trump Soleimani was on the hit list and Obama was supposed to take him out. Instead of calling for his demise, Obama said, we're coming for you. And so he did what he was supposed to do. I think he did what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to take him out, but then he warned Iran so that the guy could be moved.
That's right. That's not how you do war. And it's, that's why I guess I'm old fashioned because of the way my dad was. My dad was real big into politics, news and all that. And he always said a great president's one that's been a general because then they know what real war is. And he's right. If you're not a general and a president, you'd better have some really good generals and not corrupt ones. And unfortunately, Trump walked into a lot of generals that just were more for what Obama and Hillary and the deep state wanted more than helping our country to stay strong.
Because Obama fired the generals that were patriots.
So, but see, that's a lot of like what I like to do. My viewers think I'm different as far as the news I do. I try to teach everybody the old policies and teach you history that makes what is going on today. And because I really feel we do need that, because the Democrats want us to forget about what the actual policies and the Constitution and even laws that they have written that they're changing their minds on, like the whole thing with the cages. They thought we forgot. No, I didn't forget who did the cages. It was Obama. Now they want to put it on Trump. No. I remember, and when I seen it, I was enraged. I threw a fit about it. So people did remember. Whoa, she did say something about it. I was trying to warn everybody and teach everybody what the Islamic extremists were about. But see, I was accused of being anti-Muslim. And I said, well, yeah, because I know in their own Quran says when it comes down to me and them, they got to kill me in the end, and that's not what I was taught through Jesus Christ. We don't just kill our enemies just because God told us to. He did not. So I really try to teach the viewers a lot of, like with the Clinton crimes I'm doing now, of what they did then, and then it'll start making sense of why Larry Nichols does what Larry Nichols does, to help us and help this country. And I really hope I'll get a little bit more viewers and people that come over to the news page from here, because I would really like to keep them informed. And if you get petitions or you get stuff for veterans that need help, let me know. If they have one of those GoFundMe for a veteran, you betcha, or a police officer. We're strong police, we're strong military, our veterans. we're patriots. And, I call my show on Friday the Patriot Show. And it's because we need to all pull together. And, it's even some of those Democrats that are fed up, that want to be a patriot, but they still kind of want to do their party. That's fine. Go for it. But don't put no socialist in, is my view. The old Democrats used to work with us. We used to get when we got in the House, they were willing to work with the Republicans on passing bills. And some still do it, but they're being taken over, threatened, and taken out by this weird liberal group. And, it's time to stop them, vote them out, and put this country back as being great again.
What time is your Facebook Live tonight?
It will be 9 Eastern time.
9 Eastern, 8 Central?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm doing Clinton crimes for a while. Tonight it's going to be on Africa. When they, because see, I'm kind of leading everybody in a timeline a little bit, so they understand it a little more. And actually, Larry Nichols is a little bit a part of this, because it's that plan. He had helped them understand. And what I do with Africa is I'm showing them the first time they started using the resources to make the money, to put their friends on the boards, put their friends in place, and then start funneling that money through to all of them. And that's what they did here with AFTA and BCCI. They got the foundation. It was a way to funnel that money through. They just have to find a legal way for the cover. And, that's what, there's a lot to what happened in Africa, in Congo, in Algeria. So, and I'm just, going through and exposing all their little crimes, what they did. Because I just think they're evil people, and I'd like everybody to know what they have done, to see the extent of it. And, Mary Ellen, I keep telling you and your viewers, no matter how many stories I do, Larry Nichols just comes right back up in the middle of it. And here we're talking Africa, Larry Nichols in Africa. Wow, And all he was doing was trying to expose them back then too. So.
Yeah. So Ellie's channel on Facebook Live is Investigators, and the logo that's in the circle is a fist of fire. It's a real fiery fist, so bright orange.
And if they miss it, they can. I haven't posted all my daily ones because it's just really hard on me. But like my Patriot Show is what my Friday nights are always on there. And they can go back and they'll see Clinton crimes. I think I've done 2 weeks now. And exposing the Clintons for what they've done. And I've told you so many times, Mary Ellen, I'm going to carry on Larry's legacy. I am huge on what he feels, and to not let the Clintons go any further, or if not, I will haunt them until their dying days to push what they've done to Larry and to us here. But Larry's story's got to be told, and if I have to tell it event by event and corrupt situation to corrupt situation, I'm going to push his story. And like I told him, I don't want nothing in return. Investigator News don't want nothing in return. We're just going to get the truth out. And we love doing it. We really do like doing this. And, we want to help everybody here, while he's gone. And if it means I do shows, for 2-3 months till Larry gets back on his feet and comes back, then I'll say, good. And then, I'll be just part of the audience like the rest of us. So.
Well, Ellie and I are committed to keeping Larry's message going for the rest of our lives. And so until we hear, definitely one way or another, when we're allowed to know, and when you're allowed to know, then we'll be passing that information on. So, until then, we just carry on under the assumption that God is going to protect him and help him. We don't have verification of anything different, and so the investigators live is at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Dreaming.
We do videos. We do weather. In the mornings, I do an earthquake report. We do jokes, animals. Oh goodness, the wildlife. NASA. We're big NASA. We're big police. Blue Lives Matter. Huge vets. Military. We do military times. We keep track of the border and with Mexico news. I like to keep track of Israel and what's going on over there. And that we do through Ben Noon, Israeli News Live, and also Israeli Channel 7. So, and I even keep an eye on Putin and listen to some of his live roundtable talks with the media. So, we're busy. And then, of course, my brother and sister, they help. And when we get stuff like this stuff with Barr really quick, the media grabbed the whole thing of Barr saying he shouldn't be tweeting. Okay, and they went and now they twist it. Now they changed it to, it sounds like Schiff's fairy tale story. And you got to read what happened, what he said before and what he said after. There's a 5-minute clip that explains it. And, Mary Ellen, it's just like the Bible. You can't pull one verse out and use it. You got to take the verses before and the verses after. And sometimes it's a whole chapter to understand what it means. And that's what the media and Democrats are counting on. They can pull one little thing out, twist it around, and write a new story. So if you're concerned about Barr going against Trump, listen to the whole interview and listen to what Barr says. He's not against Trump, because if he was against Trump, he would have stayed in office longer with the Clintons in '92.
Well, and the other thing is, Barr made it very clear that when President Trump tweeted about Barr reduce, the opportunity to reduce Stone's sentence, Barr had already taken that on and was already working on that. And Barr was actually a little upset with President Trump for tweeting because he didn't want that out yet. But Barr was taking action before Trump did anything. Trump says they never talked. He never asked Barr to do that. Barr had done that on his own. And so don't believe the lies coming from the Democrats saying that Barr needs to be impeached because he was taking orders from Trump to do this. No, Barr did this because that is his prerogative to do. Trump found out about it and Trump tweeted about it. And the timing was probably wrong. But, hey, President Trump, remember, he works for us. He represents us. And so he wants to keep us informed in what's going on. That's why he tweets so much. He's trying to communicate with us. So he's letting us know. He knows people are upset about what happened to Stone, and so he's trying to let us know. And, of course, it's so hard to do anything right without the Democrats changing it all and twisting it, just like they said, if Trump got acquitted, then it's just nothing but a cover-up. No, it's nonsense. Is that your puppy? Is that your dog down there?
Hey, you guys notice the birds ain't like squawking today. They're kind of quiet. No. If you heard them this morning on my live show, they were horrible. And I'm moving my studio, or my makeshift I got right now. I'm going to be making a nice studio in one of the back rooms. And I said, well, you know, if I don't put the birds back there, all my viewers are going to get a little upset. They're so used to hearing the birds. And back, you know, where the studio is going to be, it's going to be nice and quiet. So I don't know, I may have to move them back there with me. You know, because
we're over an hour, so I'm going to end this, folks. As I said earlier, the Nichols family needs some protection, and we need $5,000 to help them. And they're going to be facing quite a large medical bill, and we haven't had much money coming in. And so if you can give a large donation, please do. And text me for how to send it. We have somebody there who can safely get it where it needs to go to provide the help. And so please text me for how to direct money to them. And the text is across the screen there. The phone number is across the screen. Text message is the best. I'm going to go back to painting, but I'll have my phone with me so I can look up text messages and call you back. And hopefully you don't have to see me covered in paint by next week. So thanks, Ellie, for being with me and being with us. And God bless you all. Have a great weekend. Please keep the Nichols family in prayer and pray for. Just keep praying Psalm 118:17. I'm going to put that in I'm putting that in the chat right now. Psalm 118:17. I keep praying that Larry will not die but live and declare the works of the Lord. And if he is gone, then he comes back. And, you know, we're hearing stories more and more about people who've died and gone to heaven and come back to tell the story. So Ellie and I both, among others, believe that he's not done yet. And so we're just hanging in there to see. Yes, Terry, we do have the conference call tonight. It's the same time as Ellie's show. So I can watch it when it hits YouTube on Saturday. So
you can watch it after. I usually post it within a few hours. It takes about an hour to 2 hours to move it over and post it on YouTube. So if they want to watch late tonight or tomorrow, they can.
And YouTube is Investigators or Investigators News or
Investigators.
They're both okay.
With the fist.
Yep. Okay. All right. Thanks, Ellie. Thanks, folks. And God bless you and have a blessed weekend. And we'll talk again on Monday. Bye now.